Straight facts, no chaser. So Donald Trump's lawyers are arguing in the Supreme Court, and many of the Supreme Court justices who are like MAGA minions are literally listening to this shit and giving it some sense of validity. But as you'll hear, there are two people, at least, that I've heard that are fucking sane, and they're asking the right questions. Listen to this shit.
I think it would depend on the circumstances whether it was an official act. If it were an official act, again, he would have to be impeached.
Well, what does that mean, depend on the circumstances? He was the president. He is the commander-in-chief. He talks to his generals all the time, and he told the generals, I don't feel like leaving office. I want to stage a coup. Is that immune?
If it's an official act, there needs to be impeachment and conviction beforehand because the framers viewed that kind of
If
very
it's an
low
official
risk.
act, is it an official act?
If it's an official act, it's impeachment.
Is it an official act?
On the way you described that hypothetical, it could well be. I just don't know. You'd have to, again, it's a fact-specific, context-specific determination.
That answer sounds to me as though it's like, yeah, under my test, it's an official act, but that sure sounds bad, doesn't it?
Well, it certainly sounds very bad, and that's why the framers have a whole series of structural checks that have successfully, for the last 234 years, prevented that very kind of extreme hypothetical.
So Trump's lawyers is arguing to the Supreme Court of the United States that if a president wanted to stage a coup and told his military to do so, he could do so without ever being charged for it. The only way he could be charged for it is if he goes through being impeached first, the House, then the Senate, and then he can be charged. Now that's if he's still president. Now if he's no longer in the White House and he never got impeached, then he could never be charged for the crimes he knowingly, willfully committed. Yeah, the Supreme Court of the United States is actually listening to these motherfuckers speak this nonsense and giving it some sense of validity.
If the president decides that his rival is a corrupt person and he orders the military or orders someone to assassinate him, is that within his official acts that for which he can get immunity?
It would depend on the hypothetical, but we can see that could well be an official act.
It could, and why?
All right, let me get this straight. This lawyer for Donald Trump is arguing that the president should have full immunity. If he doesn't get impeached and found guilty, then he can come out and in the public sphere be free as a bird. That's their argument. And the conservative Supreme Court justices are listening to this and fighting for it.
If an incumbent who loses a very close, hotly contested election knows that a real possibility after leaving office is not that the president is going to be able to go off into a peaceful retirement, but that the president may be criminally prosecuted by a bitter political opponent, will that not lead us into a cycle that destabilizes the functioning of our country as a democracy? And we can look around the world and find countries where we have seen this process, where the loser gets thrown in jail.
This is what I know about Republicans and MAGA Republicans. First off, Republicans. There's no way that dumbass MAGA took over your entire organization of Republicans, because you guys always say, this is not my dad's Republican. Yes, it is. Your dad's Republicans were this dumb. Why do I say that? Because your dumbass took over it and allowed them motherfuckers to take over you. You wanted to win so bad that you literally didn't decide, we need to come up with policies to get people to like us. No, we had to listen to dumbass Americans and get them on our side. See, Democrats are working on immigrants, you think, to become president. You wanted to work with the dumbass people in America to give them a say in politics. So you put them on display. And just like the wild animals in the local zoo, they stand out, but they don't belong. And you guys let your party get taken over by the wild animals, and you can't tame them. At least 3 of them are in the Supreme Court of the United States. Dipshits that are literally listening to this argument about a president having full immunity to do what he or she wants to do and never be charged unless they go through impeachment in the House, Senate, then they can come out and be criminally charged if that happens. You guys are simping for Trump and think that your strategy is really effective. You guys are playing Candyland. We're playing chess. And I'm about to show you, just in this scenario that you guys are playing out, MAGA and Supreme Court justices, how you are actually sinking your own battleship. You want to see how? Let's break it down. Supreme Court justices that are MAGA nuts. Let's say you pass this thing and Donald Trump is immune. All these cases drop. That's a wrap. It's done. We've done our deed to keep Donald Trump out of jail and running for president, and we're going to vote for him and he's going to become president again. But hold on a second. You didn't just free Donald Trump. You freed the incumbent president. And that would be Joseph Robinette Biden. Isn't that right? Yes. Okay. So in your scenario, the president is immune and Donald Trump has his chance to be president. But hold on. I think Donald Trump is corrupt. So does a lot of these courts throughout the United States. Maybe not SCOTUS, but all of the other courts who are charging him think he's guilty. He's already been guilty of graping a woman, guilty of fraud to the tune of almost $500 million. Now he's being charged again for fraud, right? Fraudulent business records, corrupt. It's not a stretch for Joe Biden, the incumbent president, to think that Donald Trump is corrupt. And based upon your argument, Donald Trump's lawyer's argument, Justice Alito and all those other MAGA nut Supreme Court justices, you've just willfully given President Joseph Robinette Biden the green light to legally, with immunity, to assassinate Donald J. Trump. You see how you just sunk your own battleship? G7, bitch. Yeah. You just given Joseph Biden the green light to order up SEAL Team 6 or the military to assassinate Donald Trump and get away with it. Because you're going to say, well, he can be charged because you have to go through the House to impeach him. Well, the House is run by the Republicans. So yes, they will impeach him. The Senate's run by Democrats. So no, they won't impeach him. So when he leaves, he won't be impeached and he can't be charged criminally. And the majority of America will see that as an official act because Donald Trump is a threat to American society. He is a threat to American democracy. He even said himself he wants to be a dictator on day one. So if that's not a threat to America, what is? You dumb motherfuckers don't think for shit. And I bet you right now, none of y'all are fucking getting it because you're too fucking stupid for logic. You literally gave the incumbent president the green light to take out your orange messiah. Yeah, so you might want to call back these dumbass SCOTUS motherfuckers and tell them, let it go. Let this man face whatever the fuck he did wrong. And the jurors might let him go. But you don't want to set in stone that a Democrat can be in office forever because all he has to do is to believe, not factual, just his belief. And he can order up SEAL Team 6 or anybody in the military to assassinate any Republican opponent and be president forever and then assign it to any other Democrat. And you guys will never be in power again. Do you see how stupid you actually are? If not, there's no help for you. It is what it is. I speak facts, straight facts, no chaser. Fuck your feelings.